Well, Mr. Lutterloh, first of all, thank you for taking time to join us. And as I mentioned, your title is quite a lengthy one. It's a mouthful.
I came into the job from a position within N1, working in training and education specifically. I've got a little bit of background in manpower requirements in addition to that, both at the Joint and the Navy level. I took the job working for the Chief of Naval Personnel and the N1 primary about a year ago, in January last year, when Ms. Stephanie Easter, who had had the job for 3 years, went to work over in the Joint Program Office for the F-35 program. There's an opportunity there to influence where the Navy goes. With the Budget Control Act of 2011, we've significantly reduced the DoD budget. All of the services are feeling some of that pain. There's a set of decisions that we have to make in regard to manpower, in regard to manning and personnel, in regard to training, and in regard to education that are going to set the course for the Navy for the next 25 or 30 years. So I'm excited to be there, to be involved in some of that work, and to be able to chart the course and perhaps provide some of the lessons I've learned over the course of my career in helping the Navy in that regard.
Well, I imagine with all your responsibilities in your role, the glass has to always be half full, and you have to be pretty optimistic.
Absolutely. I think I'm terribly excited, wonderfully excited about the future for the Navy. You know, the military in general, as Secretary Hagel talked about yesterday, is downsizing in the current president's budget. All of the services are feeling that pain to one degree or another. However, the Navy, while reducing, is reducing only minimally. Our force structure from FY14 to FY15 is staying relatively stable. Small drop projected out in FY16, nothing that we can't manage. Today, our force is fully manned, balanced across the board. Advancements are at the norm or higher, and we've got a very high quality, fully manned fleet out there. We are poised for whatever scenario we face in the future years relative to our manpower and how we sustain that fleet manning.
Well, of course, here at the Naval Postgraduate School, we're quite well known for our expertise in research. From your perspective, how important is research to the Navy?
Well, research is dominant across the board. It relates not only to our weapon systems that we're building and the training that's associated with training those operators, maintainers, and tactical employers of those weapon systems, but it's also key in the education of our naval officers and our enlisted force as we move ahead. So at postgraduate school, one of the crown jewels of our education fleet, research plays a critical role. It's a world-class institution. In order to be a world-class institution, we need world-class curricula and we need world-class faculty. What's key to both, keeping the curricula robust and vibrant, is research, and attracting and retaining a world-class faculty at this level in the postgraduate arena is research. Critical research on the evolving technology and its application in a real environment. That's what we've got here in terms of research, coupled with the faculty expertise and a world-class body of officer students coming directly from the fleet.
Many times we hear about our world-class faculty, but we also hear about our world-class students. I'm wondering what's your overview on the students here at NPS?
The students are excellent. These are all demonstrated performers in their given designators. They've been in the heat of battle most recently. They're returning. It's a breather for them. They're bringing their problems directly from the fleet to the expertise of the educational arena, solving them, and then directly returning to the fleet with those applications ready to apply again in that fleet environment.
Why do you think NPS remains so relevant to the military and the Navy especially?
Well, it's primarily the people. So you come down to a faculty that's world-class. We've had budget pressure over the past year. We've had furloughs. We've had a government shutdown. But throughout it all, the faculty has remained steadfast in focusing on the students. Those officers coming from the fleet, it doesn't matter whether they're sailors or Marines, whether they're from the Army, Navy, Marine, Air Force, Coast Guard, or our international maritime partners, that faculty is focused on those students. Those students are super achievers in their own right, demonstrated performers coming back in. wanting to learn, thirsting for the knowledge, ready to be the leaders of the next century within the maritime domain.
Well, I know from speaking with you before that you're quite a proponent of advanced education.
Right, and I think the reason for optimism here is the understanding of leadership of the importance of education as an asymmetric advantage in developing our people. What I've seen in the naval leadership from the CNO through the Vice Chief, who chairs our Advanced Education Review Board, is a commitment to education. How do we deliver it? Where do we deliver it? When do we deliver it? How do we leverage it in our daily employment, in our jobs, both ashore, in the business end, and in the fleet in the operational end? So the CNO recently signed out the education strategy, which has as its core the development of joint warfighters, the development of technical leaders, and the development of critical thinkers and strategists. Postgraduate school plays a key role, primarily in the development of those technical leaders across the board associated with our subspecialty codes, but also in the development of those critical thinkers and strategists for the future.
Well, sir, thank you very much for all your service to our country and to the military, and especially thank you for taking time in your busy schedule to be with us here on Inside NPS on the Pentagon Channel. It's been a pleasure.
Believe me, the pleasure's been all mine. It's an invigorating couple days that I've spent here, the opportunity to meet with the faculty, talk about the issues that are out there, lay out some of the things that keep me awake, understand what they're thinking, what they see in the technology that's moving ahead, and how the two come together to a confluence of solutions that are going to benefit our Navy and our nation.